Now, the Clare-based metalworker Jane Murtagh is among the 16 design makers selected by Design and Crafts Council Ireland to exhibit at Collect 2026, the prestigious international fair for contemporary craft and design at Somerset House in London. A graduate of fine art from Dunleary School of Art, Jane's built a distinguished career from her studio in Cratloe, creating finely crafted metalwork that reflects both technical mastery and artistic vision. And at this year's fair, which explores the theme of 4 seasons, her work is going to form part of Ireland's curated presentation to an international audience of collectors, curators and design professionals. No pressure, Jane. Thanks very much for coming into studio.
Thank you for having me.
And not just yourself, you didn't arrive empty-handed. You've brought some of your handiwork with us. But talk to us a bit about how it feels to be amongst the chosen few, the 16 designer makers to represent this country at Collect 2026.
It's wonderful. It's it's a great honour. I would have gone over to look at this show maybe twice in the last 5 years, and there's people from all over the world, incredible, skilled people, and new technologies as well, which is extraordinary to see. And so, I'm absolutely delighted. It's lovely.
Talk to us a bit about your work and how you got into metalwork in particular.
Well, I went to do a fine art degree in Dunleary in the in the late 70s, and I had sort of had it in my head that I would be a painter, because I was always paintings that I looked at as a young person in the galleries. But one of the modules in the college in the first year was metalwork. And when I went into the room, there was the smell of the metal and the feel of it that really got me, because as a very young person, my father had an antique shop and he would send me to repair workshops in Dublin. So I was in silversmithing workshops when I was 12 or 13, collecting pieces of Georgian silver that had been repaired. And I always liked going in there because the people were quite... they were kind of intense and introverted, and they didn't say much, but they had this amazing display of tools. And as I realised when I was 18 or 19 that really did, I liked that.
But what is it about metal as a medium that drew you to it specifically?
I approach it like a sheet of paper, so I really love drawing. I like the feel of the metal. I like when I anneal it and heat it and forge it. I like the way it moves. And that still fascinates me 40 years later. I'm still in awe of that and experimenting with that.
Your work is described as combining technical mastery with artistic vision. Jane, how would you describe your style to someone who hasn't seen it? And we'll talk about what you brought in just a moment.
Well, I'm delighted to hear that, because
she's going a little bit red.
It's because I approach it from my fine art background. So I would each piece, it's one-off work really that I do. So it would be. Each piece would be developed through, I'm very inspired by nature, but I'm also inspired by music and how particularly jazz and early Baroque music would help me develop a piece of work. So my work is very gallery based, rather than shop based. It's gallery based or commissioned.
So let's talk a bit about what you've brought in this morning. What have we got here? A selection of hammers, and is there a pickaxe there? Or is that a small pickaxe, or is it a large hammer?
No, I brought these along because I don't think any of us get anywhere without people behind us. So I was very fortunate that I had a great teacher in art college he knew how to make tools. So these tools I made all those years ago. And
so you have a small container there with lots of small metal objects.
Like chisels.
What have you got?
They're a bit like chisels, but they're called repousse punches. So a lot of the work I do is called repousse, and it's where you're sort of moving the metal from the back and the front to make a relief. But you've got to have tools to do that. So my tutor showed me how to make these, and I'm incredibly grateful because I am still using them. And so they would have been forged by very good quality old steel.
And what you were holding there, showing me, to all intents and purposes, and to my, sadly, and I apologise, Jane, untrained eye.
No, they're all different, the faces
so
on
like
them.
an extremely thick nail.
Yeah,
is what it looks like to
and
me.
it's all forged at the top, so it's
Oh,
shaped.
it's freezing cold as well.
That's my hammer that I use, and that's a German-made hammer. That was I would have bought that as a student, and I have used that and done so much work with it. It's really good quality.
Walloping my hand with it. It looks to me like a kind of very old school hammer.
It's a Repuse hammer, and it's got lovely balance in it.
I feel like doing an auction here. Going once, going twice.
This one here is one I use for sort of texturing the metal, and that was given to me by lovely Jim Evans, a blacksmith from Shannon.
So this one has on either side of it kind of more sharper ends on both ends.
And that can do very nice texturing on non-ferrous metals, like bronze or copper.
And then you've got a big wooden one.
Yeah, this is a mallet that's used for sort of, bossing out a bowl shape on a sandbag. So again, that's a very good quality mallet that I would have bought as a student. This is made from a cow horn.
Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah, that was given to me by a lovely silversmith that I trained with after our college. Very useful for just gently moving silver if I need to move silver.
Tough, but not as tough as an actual metal hammer. That's a rather fine collection. Tell me how it came to be that you were selected to represent Ireland with those other 15 designer makers.
If it was open to anybody who was maybe selected before to a thing called portfolio within the Crafts Council, and portfolio again was people selected from around the country that maybe the Crafts Council would use to show work to embassies around the world, I think. So I was selected for that on 2 occasions. So once you had been selected for that, it allowed you apply to do this, to go over to collect. So I actually thought I wouldn't, it's so competitive. I mean, there's so many really incredible makers and artists in this country. The competition is huge. And so I thought I'd give it a shot.
Well, that worked out well, didn't it? Because you've made the cut. You're going to be at Collect 2026, and I did say in my intro, it's a prestigious international fair for contemporary craft and design, and it attracts collectors, curators, design professionals from all around the globe. How important is that kind of exposure for an Irish craftsperson such as yourself? What could it potentially do for your career?
It gets you seen. Because most of us, certainly I'm working in a very old building on a farm in Clare on my own in sort of crap weather, and you're at it for 40 years and you think, design, and every so often things go great and you get commissions or you get into an exhibition. But a lot of the time you are on your own and you think, do I bother keep going? And I think every artist has that, no matter what age they are.
You keep hammering away.
So you keep going, so this is really nice. I mean, it's very nice for people outside of Ireland to see my work and get in touch with me to say they're interested. And it is. We'll see how it goes. I mean,
regardless of the weather, unfortunately, as you say, it's crap everywhere at the moment.
Yes.
But what brought you to Clare and Cratloe in particular, and how is being based in Clare played a part in your work and the progression of your work?
I came with my husband about 35 years ago to a family farm, and countryside has always inspired my work, and in a way I've been very fortunate because I have a studio right beside the house where we live. So that's what brought us here. Okay,
well, I'm sure part of your advice to anyone looking to get into pursuing a career in craft and design would be find yourself a setup like you have in Clare. But other than that, for any young artists or makers listening in Clare today, what advice would you give them, Jane, if they're looking to follow a similar path to yourself?
You just have to keep making. You have to keep looking at what you're doing and trying to get better, and you just keep doing it. That's the only advice there is. You just have to do it.
Well, you have, and it's working out pretty well. We wish you well at Collect 2026. I dare say the metal detector at the airport will be going off numerous times when you try to pass through, but wish you and the other 15 designers representing Ireland very well. Jane Murtagh, the Cratloe-based metalworker, thank you so much for popping in this morning.
Thank you very, very much for having me.